Doc Gilberg here, Cutman for professional boxing, specializing in high-risk and high-profile bouts. I produced a number of videos having to do with the ringside management of cuts. Some of those videos included talking about adrenaline, how it's packaged, how I prepare it, how I administer it. The same thing about Avatine, how it's packaged, how I prepare it, how I use it, as well as some of my own personal techniques. Specifically, how I handle a cut below the eye versus how I manage a cut above the eye. Today, I'm over here in the West Side Athletic and Educational Center in Syracuse, New York, home of Amir Anderson, a boxer who's about to make his debut, a name that will soon become very familiar to people in the boxing world. Today, I'm going to present a video with a specific focus on the use of the Enswell, why it's used and how it's used. But before I get into that, for 1 second, if you're a coach, if you're a trainer, if you're a fighter, some of the earlier videos focused on the qualities of that individual working as a cut person that you want in your corner. And some of those qualities, you want them to be calm, even under pressure. You want them to have the knowledge and the skills, recognizing what needs to be done and how to do it. And you want them to have the confidence so that you, as the fighter, know that things will get handled properly. When you look in their eyes, when you're sitting on the stool in the corner and you look at them, you get the sense that they have confidence, right? That they're set with what they need to do. Coming back to today, we have, name? Sam. We have Sam sitting in the corner on a bench, and we're going to do some discussion about the use of an Enswell. Why we need an Enswell? Well, take a look at the swelling underneath the eye right here. The eye is still pretty much available to see, not fully closed. So how are we going to address that? We want to not allow it to progress to something like this, because if it does, the risk of a fight stoppage is real. That is not good, and you have not done a proper job as a cut person. So I don't know if you can see this clearly enough, but this is the same fight on the next two photographs. Swelling underneath the right eye before the Enswell, after the Enswell use. The swelling is down, the eye is clearly visible. Don't worry about it. What causes the swelling? Well, stop for a second. Think about how the body works. Your blood vessels work to control the temperature of your body. When it's hot outside, your blood vessels get wide, they dilate. That allows heat to escape. When it's cold outside, your blood vessels constrict, holding the heat in. How does that affect bleeding? Let's look at this. Stay right where you are, camera person. Here's a normal blood vessel, the normal diameter, normal blood flow. If it's warm, like you've been boxing for 3 minutes and you're all sweaty, the blood vessel dilates and becomes wider. So if you cut this, you're going to lose more blood. On the other hand, if the blood vessel constricts because it's been exposed to cold, then the area of blood loss becomes much smaller and the risk for a bleed is reduced. That leads us to talk about the Enswell. The Enswell basically is a piece of steel that, personally, I keep it in a bucket on ice. So remember what we just said about cold? That cold causes constriction of the blood vessel. If this is on ice and you touch it to a blood vessel, the blood vessel is going to constrict, get smaller, and the bleeding slows down. There are a number of different varieties of Enswells. I have 3 with me here to show you. Here's one style, which I can't say plus or minus because I don't use it. Here's another style, which this one unscrews, so you can actually put ice in it. I tried it once personally. I was not pleased with the results, so I don't use it. And basic, I don't want to give a commercial, but this came from Tidal. I use this, and in fact, I bring 2 to every fight and keeping them on ice. This is the one I'm going to be using today as I demonstrate the use. So the athlete comes back to the corner, and he's got swelling underneath the eye. I'm going to place the Enswell here, and that should take care of the swelling. Now, I'm using my right hand, but my left hand is free. We can do better than that. If I use my left hand, my right hand is now free. I can take Vaseline, address greasing the fighter, or if there's a cut, at the same time, whoops, would you please? Thank you. At the same time that I'm doing the Enswell, I can put my adrenaline-soaked swab into a cut. In the event that there's swelling under both eyes, using 2 Enswells will work fine. If I needed to keep a hand free to address a cut, if there's another corner person on the other side, we each use an Enswell under the eye, and then we address the cut. If there's no cut, I'm going to be doing Vaseline. Final word about the use of the Enswell if there's a cut. Remember we said that the cold of the Enswell helps cause the blood vessel to constrict. In the video that talks about adrenaline, adrenaline chemically causes the blood vessel to constrict. So now we have a chemical blood vessel constrictor and cold as a blood vessel constrictor. If we put the two together, along with direct pressure, you will get excellent results. The last thing that I want to mention regarding this, the question comes up about, well, if there's swelling under the eye, some people say use the Enswell to push the swelling away from the eye so that the eye can see better. Well, let's look at 2 little pictures here. Here's one. The top green line represents the skin. The collection of blood or the swelling is below it, and here's the break in the skin where the blood is leaking into. When you have a pool of blood like this, right at this point, this little red here indicates the blood flow. It's putting pressure against it. So the more blood that's in here, really it's trying to push up, but it can't, so it pushes down. And when it pushes down, it stops more blood from coming in. So if we push this to the side, look what happens. We push this to the side, this is no longer putting pressure here, more blood comes in, and the swelling gets bigger. So the question comes up, do we push it to the side or not? And that's a decision that you're going to have to make yourself as a cut person. My advice would be to think about this. If it's the end of the fight, if it's the last round, and you push it to the side, who cares if the swelling comes back again because the fight is over and you gave your fighter the ability to see. If it's early in the fight and you push it over, when it refills, the swelling may be greater and the fight may stop. Final thing that I want to say is that this video, like the other almost dozen videos that are online, are completely free. They represent my techniques and my opinions. It doesn't mean that they're right or wrong, it's just the way that I do business. They are available online for you to view. I do give workshops in any city that I'm working in for free. If you can get 3, 4, 5, or 6 people together, just look at my postings and see where I'm going to be. If you can get that number of people together, I will bring the supplies and we can sit down and do an actual workshop. They run about 90 minutes to 2 hours. It's all hands-on, and once again, it's free. The goal is to make you as effective, as comfortable, and competent as a cut person as possible. I recently did one of those workshops here at this center, and one of the coaches who attended was Chris Burns, who will say a few words right now.
I just want to thank Doc for putting on the clinic that he did. We had 8 future cutmen who were here, and it was just a great hands-on class. They were able to get into the ring, work with boxers, and as coaches sometimes we think we can do it all and we can do everything at once, and it's just I can't say enough how valuable it is to have someone dedicated to cuts in the corners, so us as coaches can do our job, which is to make sure that our athletes are safe and they know the game plan and how to win. So I would definitely recommend these classes to anyone who's thinking about it, to those coaches who are thinking about multitasking and trying to do everything their own. There really is a huge added value that you get with having someone who's a cut man, especially with someone the experience that Doc has in the corner.
Okay, that's it. Thank you for your attention. Anytime, any questions, contact me on Facebook. I'll be happy to respond to them. Thank you.